I didn't love myself, and you give power and influence to the wrong people. Look how it turns out. You have to hype yourself up when nobody else on the external is hyping you up. You have Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Ascension with a V. I'm your host, Stashia Jeanette, aka V, and today I'm going to talk about just a little short thing that was kind of on my mind recently that I'm currently going through, that I'm currently experiencing. And I thought, what better time to talk about something that I have personally experienced than when I'm currently experiencing it? And it's the struggle. It's the suffering. It's the pain. It's the feeling frustrated. It's the feeling like things aren't coming together, and it's the breaking down, and it's the just pure isolation feeling of feeling like everybody else is doing a lot better than you are. And I mean, I guess this is a part of kind of having that comparison thing, or looking external to your lane, trying to deviate from your lane on things. But it's real. It's really real for people who are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and in some really unique niches out here, who are the wave payers, those who are crusading, those who are the patriarchs, and those who are the creators and builders of things not yet done, things that were said to be undoable, those who are doing the things that were seen to be unthinkable. Right. Those of us that are on the front lines, who are bricklaying and paving the way for others to come on things, it's rough. It's really, really rough out here, to build your empire. And a lot of times, all you ever see is the success of people once they've gotten through it, once they've gotten past the struggle, once they've gotten past, the years of not seeing any return on investment, of not getting any clients, of not getting any work, of struggling financially, of not getting any sleep, of trying to figure out why your things aren't hitting, why people aren't seeing your content, why people aren't choosing you, why nobody is supporting you, and feeling like a failure. I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna call it as it is, feeling like a failure. You don't see those things most of the time. Like, all you see is the glitz, the glamour, the success. You see people enjoying their life, you see people living their best life, and you see people taking vacations, or you see people who, when they're already like on and popping publicly, when you see them all over social media, or you see them getting the views and all the things of this nature. That's what people see. That's what people talk about. That's what people discuss so frequently. But it's almost like embarrassing to talk about the suffering while you're going through it. And I understand why a lot of people don't talk about it, because like I said, it's like shame, that you're going through this, whatever it is, that you're in this, down phase, or life is just life is just hoeing you, and you just been I made a recent podcast where I talked about, or no, it was an oracle read that I did, where I talked about, essentially, you just been in the ring ducking and dodging and taking hits, your entire lifetime, and the bells just never rang, and you just have to keep ducking, dodging, swinging, and taking hits until, finally you come out on the other end, and the bell rings, and it's like, holy shit, like, now I'm the world's heavyweight champion. But how long did people just have to watch me in that ring for the longest, getting my ass whooped? And it's a lot of going through a lot of struggle for a long time without seeing any results. It can be embarrassing. It can feel, it's like a huge morale blow, almost. It not even almost, it is. It's like a huge morale blow to be able to sit in the middle of trying to build your empire with nothing to show for it. but everyone's looking at essentially nothing happening for you from the external, from the physical eyes, right? But there's a ton of stuff that's going on behind the scenes. There's a ton of work that's being put in behind the scenes. There's a ton of things that are happening spiritually and energetically for you behind the scenes, but physically, it doesn't, it looks rough. It's looking really, really rough on the external in the physical world. For those on the outside looking in, all they see is, essentially nothing. And, you might be experiencing a lot of doubt from other people externally. And some of the doubt may not even be yours. Like you could just be picking up on the doubt externally from other people and then like taking it on as yours. But like I'm gonna tell you firsthand as I'm sitting in this right now, as I'm swimming in this pool of energy currently right now, the most thing that I've had to confront was my own internal dialogue. And you know what? It doesn't matter what anyone on the external thinks. I know who I am in accordance to God's source universe, and I know what God's source universe has going and planned for me. And even as everything in my life currently right now is crumbling, even as I'm suffering, even as I have to combat those thoughts and feelings of being a failure, I've now just gotten to the point to where, again, as a 1-3 projector, I'm just embracing the trial and error. I'm just embracing the quote unquote would be failures. And I'm just taking it and going. But it's just been a full thing of me having to rest confidently and surrendered in the knowledge of God's source universe has a plan, and regardless how many things fall apart, regardless of how many, quote unquote bad things may be happening on the surface in my life right now, regardless of how quote unquote uncomfortable it may get for me, I know that this is all a part of the divine plan and everything is going according to the divine plan and everything is going to work out and in my favor in accordance to the divine plan because I'm walking in my purpose. I am aligned with what it is that I'm supposed to be doing at a soul, and that energetic alignment, that energetic frequency, that energetic knowing of me being in my north node of destiny and me walking by faith and not by sight is going to get me where I'm supposed to be going. And God's source universe is going to and is currently doing whatever needs necessary for me to get to where it is that I'm supposed to be going regardless. And it's just rough though. It's rough to change your perspective and stay in alignment. The part that's the most difficult is to stay in alignment with that abundance, that abundant energy, with that abundant mentality, with that abundant spirit, with that unwavering faith in God's source universe and the divine plan, even when you can't see the progress and everything on the physical is raggedy and falling apart. It's hard to stay in alignment energetically with the level of abundance when you're facing things financially in the physical that would put you into the energy of lack, that would put you in the energy of poverty, right? But it's a mind over matter situation because as long as you can hold the frequency of your abundance, as long as you can hold the frequency of your highest self, as long as you can hold your head high while everything around you is crumbling, you can get through that shift. And it is a shift. You can get through that energetic shift if you hold that frequency of knowing that you are getting ready and in the process of being catapulted and shifted into your new destined timeline, your highest version of self, your highest timeline. And God's source universe is conspiring with you and everything for you currently while you are going through this shift and this change in this process. But I want to keep it a buck hundred with everybody. It's hard. It's really hard. Like I said, it can be a incredibly demeaning and morale blowing experience to go through because it's not an overnight process in the least bit. I say this frequently that, my entire life has just been a training ground for a lot of the things that are to come in my life. And that started at 4 and I'm 32 now. So it's been a long time of going through some really grueling, some really soul shattering, some really painful, traumatic events constantly with no break. Like I said, that bell has not yet rung. That bell has not yet rung, and your girl has just been here swinging, looking and dodging and keeping it boots to the ground, 10 toes down. And unfortunately, that's just a part of it. But fortunately, I said this again on yesterday's Oracle reading. It's the full moon in Sag reading, and I'll put the link to it in the description box here. But I mentioned it in that reading that it is a fortunate thing to have gone through or be going through kind of these gut wrenching, soul clenching lifelong training ground situations because it bestowed within those of us going through these things a lot of wisdom, knowledge, experiences, tools, gifts, and abilities, perspectives, allies, comrades, squad members that others have not had who didn't go through the same type of training as us. And so it is, on that note, it is a fortunate event to go through this incarnation because now we have in our little belt, our little toolkit, a lot of things that give us an upper hand in navigating in this new world against nefarious creatures and beings who may have malicious intentions for us or malicious opportunities or traps and illusions or trickery, right? Like we're more than well equipped to handle, deal, confront, and avoid those things along our path and where we're going and where we're headed and what we have been in the process of being prepared for currently. It is, it's a bittersweet thing, but more than anything, it was a fortunate thing, and it is a fortunate thing for us to go through, but it's painful. It is, and I will never discredit that. The universe gives tough love, very, very tough love. But what you will not be able to say is that God source universe raised you to be weak in any sense. We are very, very prepared to handle the new things that are about to come into our lives, and we are very, very prepared to lead the empire and people that we are meant to lead and serve soon. And it is all worth it. But damn, it's hard. It's a lot of crying. It's a lot of frustration. It's a lot of feeling like giving up. It's a lot of having breakdowns. It's a lot of not feeling quote unquote good enough, of feeling like a failure. It's a lot of sadness, it's a lot of anger, and it's important to find healthy outlets and ways to acknowledge and deal with those things so that you can go on and process them out and get back into that alignment and flow with the energy of abundance and joy and freedom and success and happiness and knowing exactly who the hell you are in accordance to God's source universe. Like they'll say to me frequently, "So, like, you gonna cry about it or you gonna keep going?" Like, first of all, Imma do both. I'm gonna cry about it because I'm frustrated, but yes, I am gonna keep going. Like, unhand me, I'm gonna keep going, but I'm gonna cry while I'm walking. Know that. I'm gonna cry along the journey, and that's okay too. That's okay too, but just make sure that you do keep going regardless of how painful it is and regardless of how difficult it is and regardless how many times you have to start over on something or you have to rebuild something. Y'all, I have had to redo, rebuild, remake, repost a lot of things on my website. I got a new website now, so check it out because your girl put a lot of work into it. Again, it's still same ascensionoraclev.com, but I've had to redo. It's not like I'm not paying somebody to do something that I am very good at doing and can do on my own. So both times that I've made my websites, I've had to do it. I did it myself and from scratch, and I poured a lot of my heart and soul into producing it, into creating it, and then again having to like tear it down, build it back up, tear it down, build it back up, tear it down, build it back up is But as you grow, so does your business, and so does the way that you have to produce, and so does the way that you have to conduct yourself and conduct your business. And anybody that isn't a solopreneur, I want to say that as well. You're don't let, just because you have put a lot of time and effort into the way that your business was when you first started, when you first birthed the business, or the business plan, or the website, or the layout, or the packages, or the offerings, whatever the case may be. Don't let, just because you put a lot of time into it, be the reason why you continue to stay there, because you grow. Hopefully you're still growing. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but as you grow as a soul, as you evolve, as you ascend, so too does your business. So too does that. So it's important to allow yourself the freedom to have that change within your business. And sometimes it does require you going in and changing and updating and adjusting things on your site, or in your packages, or what it is that you're offering, or and sometimes it requires a complete tear down, reboot, and move to a different platform. Or I'll say that to people who are just content creators, who not just concrete, but who are content creators, and that's their main primary focus, is on the content creation side of things. Like, you don't just put all your eggs in one basket on just one platform. Sometimes you'll be called to move from one platform to another energetically. You will feel that maybe that one platform's not in alignment with you anymore, and so now you have to go to another platform, or whatever the case may be. Staying fluid in your business, staying fluid in whatever it is that you're doing or creating, is a must, and not limiting yourself on just doing one thing, or just being one way, or whatever the case may be, just because you've invested a lot of time, effort, and energy into something, is really important. Because again, I'm speaking from very painful personal experiences here. Over the last year and a half, I've had to readjust and change my business, and what it is that I'm doing, or what I'm offering, multiple times. And I think this is like the fourth time now, and it's because I've grown and I've changed. I'm not the same person, not the same I'm not at the same level as I was, when I first started. And again, that's just part of it, and that's something that's required as you continue to grow. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. It's really frustrating, especially when, again, you put a lot of time and effort by yourself. And some of you, if you're paying somebody to do it, it's even more frustrating, because now you got to put money also into the changes and things. But regardless of, the time, the money, the effort, if you're being called to make a change, or not even being called, like I said, a lot of the times with things, for me, God source universe just like cut my shit off and was just like, it's time to move on. And so I had no choice but to, keep going. But the times that I did have a choice, I could energetically feel it's not meant for me here. Like, I gave the example of, I don't go on Facebook frequently anymore, because the energy just isn't is not in alignment with me. And that's just what it is. You'll mm, a lot of you will be able to feel, where you're in alignment with, via in terms of a social media platform, and where you're not in alignment with, in terms of a social media platform. And also when you're meant to no longer be doing something, or offering something, or creating something, or even just dressing, or being a certain kind of way, you'll feel it. And God source universe will make it abundantly clear to you that, like, hey, it's time to cut this time to cut this off. Hey, yeah, it's enough of that. So yeah, and that's just what I wanted to make this short podcast episode about. Is It's really interesting. Like I said, it's been very much a mind over matter situation, on not allowing myself to feel the way that the physical circumstances would traditionally make me feel, but instead hold that frequency of where it is that I'm going. Hold that frequency of who it is that I'm becoming. Hold that frequency of what it is that I'm wanting, dreaming, what I already have, what's already mine in this different timeline that I'm now shifting into. And it is a mind over matter thing. Sounds super cliche, but I'm trying to tell you, like, I'm currently watching it happen in my life, and I wanted to document it to tell you guys that this is something that works and happens. If you can just hold the frequency long enough for that change to settle in, to ground in, to integrate in. And even when things start to, so what happens is once you grab hold of that frequency, the old world and the way that you were and everything that was connected to it starts shattering, crumbling, right? And that's usually the part where people are like, oh no. And then they try to cling back to that old self or that old version or that old way of how things were. But like, it's that way is not in alignment with this way over here, the what it is that you're where you're going, the person that you're becoming, the world that you're in over here, your highest timeline. That old world over here is not compatible with it. So because you've made the choice to change, to grow, to align, to call in that new version of you, that new existence for you, that new level of your success where you're very abundant, where you're prosperous and everything is successful, you have your dream clients, you have the recognition, you have the views, you have the collaborations, you have all the things right over here. Everything that was not compatible or in alignment with that way of being, doing, and existing, it goes away quick. And that's when that, like, it's the flailing in the middle of the ocean kind of thing starts to take place. And so I'm telling you this so that hopefully it'll help you guys. When you make the choice and the decision to call in your highest timeline, all that is not in alignment with it will fall, will begin to crumble. And you've got to keep your mind focused on knowing who you are at God's source universe level. You have to remember who you are, where you're going, and what your purpose is. When everything else starts crumbling in the physical, you've got to keep that frequency. Hold the frequency of your highest self, that abundant energy, that version of you that has all the things, that version of you that is supported, that is successful, that has all of the things, right? Everything that you're calling in over here, hold that frequency, regardless what's happening in the physical in this present moment. Right. And it is, like I said, it's hard. It's very difficult. And you will have that initial flail moment. Oh my God, what's happening? Oh my God, no, everything is, like falling. But it's because it's falling away so that your new timeline can come in. Like the two can't coexist at the same time. So it's very stressful. It can be a huge mind F while you're going through it. But I'm sorry, but I'm telling you guys now, this is a part of it. This is what goes on. And this is something that you can expect once you start to call in your highest timeline. And that's just what it is. So please know this is something that's going to happen, but you've got to stay in alignment with that frequency of where you're going over here. And it is very much, again, walking by faith and not by sight. You can't keep the old way, the old world, your old reality while you're manifesting in your new reality, your highest timeline and your highest version of self. So that's what I wanted to talk about. That's what I wanted to share with you guys, and I hope it was helpful. And don't forget that you can check out the new website that I had to rebuild. It's just ascensionoraclev.com. And you can see all the things that I have to offer over there and also apply to work one-on-one with me. And the podcast and all the things will also be in there. Just check it out. And until next time, I'll see you. Be squad.